I can think of lots of writing lessons that I had to learn the hard way. Pretty much anything I've done in writing I've had to learn the hard way. Some of it, it's always fun, it's always enjoyable. Actually, that's not true. It's not always fun, it's not always enjoyable. It ends up being fun, it ends up being enjoyable, but it's hard work. And I think probably the toughest lesson that I've learned, and you can't, there's no sort of formula that you follow, but it's to make writing accessible to a wider audience. And that's definitely the biggest challenge.
I started out as a journalist, going to journalism school, who, what, why, where, and when. And then I became an academic. And I did 2 postgrad degrees as an academic. So when I came to writing Celia Franca, I had to learn all over again how to actually speak in a language where people could understand rather than obscurity, so that people were not supposed to understand, which is academia. I always call it, sort of academia talk. So I think that was my lesson, going back to learning how to storytell.
One of the hardest things about being a writer is learning how to throw things away, throw material away, because you get very close to what you're writing, and on the final edit, you have to learn to say that paragraph, or those 2 paragraphs, or that chapter that I labored over for a week or a month. And I remember bleeding tears over my computer as I did it. You have to learn to say, no, that doesn't fit. That has to come out. I think that's one of the hardest things, sort of jettisoning all of your hard-earned knowledge and all of the hard-earned writing that you've done, and learning to take out your, hit the delete button, or take out your red pen and cross it off the manuscript.
I think the hardest lesson I learned about writing is to condense. I tend to tell stories the way Newfoundlanders do. You go in and out and around. But when I wrote F.R. Scott's biography, it was 2 volumes. It had to come down to 1. Piquet's biography was quite long. And eventually I had to revise. I write it long and cut it short. The lesson I need to learn is to write it shorter.
To start with.
Yes.
If there's one lesson I have, it is just to write, to put stuff down, to take those ideas, and I'm a historian, so I spend a lot of time researching in the archives, but you can keep researching forever, and that's a great problem, I think. And at some point you have to say, that's enough, you need to start telling the story. So if there's one lesson I learned the hard way, and it was having done an MA and a PhD, and spent years on that, it was, okay, let's take this information, let's put it down, let's tell the story.